So now this is another setup, use dynamic lot sizing. This is also for the swing stop, okay? So if I set this to true, then what this is going to do is auto lot size. It won't use the risk factor anymore. So if you set this to true, dynamic lot sizing, the risk factor won't really matter at all, okay? So it'll override this. And so it'll calculate the size of the stop loss, so if it's 30 pips, and then it'll automatically size the lots, right, to match your risk percentage here. So if you want that specific 30 pips, if you want every trade to risk only 1%, then depending on how big the stop loss is, it's going to have a different lot size. This allows you to risk a certain amount of percent per trade. And so if you have it set like this, if it's a 30 pip stop in this one trade's instance, then it will set the lots accordingly to make it so if you lose that trade, you only lose 1%. And that way, if your reward to risk comes into play, if you've got it 1.5 to 1, that means you're going to try to win 1.5% for every 1%. And if you force the minimum reward for exit, then you know you're at least going to get your risk reward. So if you're risking 1% and you have set this to 2, for example, then you know your winning trades are going to make you 2%. Because you forced it. Now, it doesn't mean just because you force a winning trade, you're not making sure that trade will win. You're actually making it a little harder for that trade to win, and you have to understand that. Because you're forcing it to go a little further distance, possibly. So it's true that if you force it, you may actually get a lower win percentage, but you know your wins will be equal to your reward per risk. And I don't want to repeat that too much, but I want to hammer all that home. So dynamic lot sizing, I think this is important. You can determine how much you want to risk per trade.